Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love Island Season 9, Episode 42. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. One, the video was all talking, so I was halfway paying attention, and then I was halfway paying attention because my friends insisted on watching the show with me. Mind you, they don't watch the show. So you can imagine how much show is being watched. Okay, so if some things are inaccurate, well, it is what it is. We're just gonna go with it, okay? Okay. So of course, the previous episode left us off with Ron being upset at Shaq's comment, and he decided that he's going to pull Shaq up on it.
It's almost like he thinks that I'm playing safe or playing a game. Maybe he just doesn't understand how big of a deal making you my girlfriend is. I'm not like calling you out on it and being like, oh, do you believe it? Obviously it's sore for me and Lana. I would never even see it. That's why for me it was just double peak. Yeah. But I know that it ain't come from any bad place, so trust me.
100% where it comment.
The premise of the game was, let's vote ourselves in the way that we think the public would vote us. And they were up on the podium, which means clearly the public does feel that way in some regard, you know what I mean? So yeah, Lana, when Ron was, recounting the conversation, was asking, did he apologize? Apologize for what? What is there to apologize about? He didn't say nothing. Nothing to be mad about. Since Lana wants to do up vigilante throughout the whole episode, it's not a big deal, Lana, okay? It's nothing to make a thing out of. The whole villa, and I mean basically the whole damn villa, is now speculating that, you know what, Ron and Lana, the chemistry ain't really there for real.
What's shown is, like, it's not just the conversations he has with Lana. Everyone is seeing how he acted with each different girl.
Yeah. But I never see him, like, kissing or...
I've never seen him, like, snog.
I don't know.
And their boyfriend and girlfriend. I think that's the big thing for them.
That's a big deal, you know.
I don't want to be like, I don't want to diminish the fact that there is an attraction. There is an attraction between the two of them. 1000%. Not taking that away from them. It just doesn't give a passionate attraction. And I think people equate passion to an excessive amount of PDA, which is not true. But I don't see... Honestly, this episode, I feel like is the most passionate I've seen Lana even be about Ron. Just the I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to have your back, whatever, that kind of relationship is not something that I've seen translate through the screen. And the people in the villa are obviously seeing the same thing. So it just makes me wonder, is their dynamic there to play it out until the end of the season?
The ones who have their drama nice and early and then get comfy and treat it like a holiday, they're the ones who are probably like, they just cruise.
But my love, you just revealed your whole game plan just in that sentence.
Which is basically what Ron kind of said. Or are they just nilly vanilly, child? Like, is that there? I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. It felt like throughout this episode, they were trying to push this. We do have chemistry. Like, we do touch, we do kiss, we do giggle. And it's like, okay. Rosie is sharing with, I think it was Casey at first, that she feels like she came in all in for Casey and is unsure whether or not that kind of intentionality, let me say, is reciprocated from him. And then she also then talks to Ron, which makes the situation get a little bit wonky.
What is it, like, you're more into me than I'm into you? What makes you think that?
Sometimes you like, I'm always the one that has to come up to you. He was like, oh my God, no, like, I feel like I'm like always staring at you. Like, he was like, I feel like I always want to be around you.
If you want to prepare yourself for the outside world, you need to get to know you a lot quicker. And the only way you can do that is by spending more one-on-one time with you. He loves being one of the three musketeers a lot.
Yeah.
Just keep a little bit of space, see where he goes. He needs a little bit of chase, so if she steps back a little bit, maybe he can chase her.
So I just want to, I want us to sit here in this moment and hear the fact that Ron said Lana needs to fall back. I mean, what's her name now? Rosie needs to fall back so that Casey will start chasing her instead of chasing the boys. That's what he said. It came out of his mouth. He needs to stop looking at you and start putting in some work. Those things came out of his mouth. Now, I'm unsure if he said it's not going to work on the outside. Again, I told you I was half listening. But we can agree that those things that I just pointed out were said. I just want to hop in and say, hearing it back, I can see why Rosie thinks that Ron said Casey and her won't work out on the outside, because if you want to prepare for the outside, he needs to start doing those things in here. And the fact that he isn't, you would assume that means it's not going to work on the outside. You know, it's kind of like a roundabout way of saying it, but I can see how her mind got to that conclusion. In the morning, the couples who were talking to Ron when he was basically exposing his gameplay are now just saying like, did y'all get the impression that I got? And everybody's like, I felt like he's playing a game too.
Ron basically came out with it. He basically said his game plan. He said that? Yeah.
So I guess people from the outside would probably think, yeah, fucking hell, like, you're cruising, like, and you know neither of you are moving, so you're just going to ride your time in it.
Essentially, Ron saying that couples that tend to be successful in the game of Love Island are ones who have a lot of turmoil in the beginning and then right around the mid-mark are solid with each other and then coast on to the end. Is he correct? Yeah. Was that poor timing? Absolutely. It was just very fishy to me. And now hearing him explain that that's typically how successful couples on Love Island go, it's like, okay, well, sir, you're not making yourself look very clean right now. Like, your mask, it's slipping. So everybody's been catching on that as of late, the PDA between Ron and Lana has been OD. And is that a coincidence, or is it now an attempt to shift the narrative that they actually do have chemistry?
Yeah, so that's a first. Never really hear you guys giggle.
Oh, we always giggle. I think it'll be interesting to see him today. If they're all touchy-feely, then that's fucked. Yeah.
It's one thing for us, the public, to feel like things are off between Ron and Lana. It's another thing for the people inside to feel it as well. And so at some point we got to be like, okay, I mean, the producers can only work with what they're given. And if it seems like they don't have chemistry, maybe they just don't have chemistry. And then if the other Islanders are also realizing, now we know y'all don't be giggling in the bed like that. We know y'all don't be kissing like that. We know y'all don't, even Will was like, I don't even think I see them kiss. And we don't see them kiss that often. Like I said, I see Will and Jesse be more affectionate than I do Ron and Lana. You gotta wonder, the chemistry, is it really there? I don't know. Maybe the phrase of the season slow burn is what they have. Maybe it is a slow burn, but I definitely felt a lot more chemistry when Ron was doing his madness than I do now. So Sammy the parrot, Sammy loves to retell a story, honey. She goes to Tom and she's saying, yo, Ron was saying this to Rosie. And luckily for her, Rosie also did come and say, okay, this is what's happening. So it doesn't look like Sammy's being like two-faced or whatever, but she loves to tell a story, let me tell you. So yeah, Rosie's like, I don't understand what that conversation was about.
He thinks that Casey's prioritising the boys over her.
What?
I just told him that.
Yeah.
Tell me when that's bizarre.
And he was like, I think you should maybe take like a step back and like...
From you?
What? He just likes spending the time with the Three Musketeers. And I said, if you feel that way, take a step back a little bit and then hope that he starts pulling you for chats.
I definitely would be dumbfounded because I feel like the comments that Ron made were kind of out of left field. And if we're being honest, I felt as if it was Ron telling Rosie of things that she should be cautious about when it comes to Casey, rather than him having Casey's back saying, hey, maybe he's this kind of guy. You just got to be patient with him. It didn't have that undertone to me. So later on, when they're all talking and it gets back to Ron that things are just being taken out of context, apparently, he's like, no, like I was saying it to say Casey's this kind of guy and you shouldn't be in your head about it, like blah, blah, blah. And then you have Lana talking about, if they're going to make it a thing, I'm going to have my man's back. I'm like, oh, Lana, now you want to buck up? Okay, welcome to the party.
One, I never said you prioritise your time.
Right.
I said you like being around Will and Tom.
He can look all he wants, but if he's not doing anything...
Oh, Rosie, come on
and
now.
saying stuff like that.
You said he stares at you during the day and he doesn't pull you for chats.
This is actually funny.
No, not really.
I'm baffled by this.
We were offering advice off the back of what Rosie was saying.
Yeah, but I didn't know this. I've literally been told this morning.
For me, it felt like deny. Because like I said a few minutes ago, Ron did say those things. Most of it. Ron did say she needs to fall back so that Casey will start chasing her instead of chasing the boys. These words came out of his mouth. So the fact that he all of a sudden doesn't recall, the fact that Lana all of a sudden doesn't recall, it doesn't look good on Rosie because Rosie is the only person who doesn't have somebody to back up her story. You know what I mean? And so Rosie's getting a little bit frustrated. And I feel like in the frustration, her mind then started to process something that I don't believe happened, because I don't remember Ron saying it's not going to work on the outside. But Rosie seems to believe that's what was said.
You said it's not going to work on the outside if you don't spend time... Fucking roll the tapes then.
Rosie, come on now.
You basically tried to manipulate our conversation in the fact that I've said to
I've
Casey that he prioritises Tom and Will over you.
It's not manipulating it.
You've said to me this morning.
You're making it out like I've made it into an issue.
I'm not saying that, and that's why I got you over here.
But there were things that were said that they're now denying. That I was the only other person, so there's nobody else that can back me up.
Child, so much for not argumentative, because here y'all are arguing. Now that's kind of been put to bed a little bit. They're still talking about it because they don't know this next piece of drama. Sammy goes to Lana and she says, hey, so your man basically exposed his gameplay and we all believe he's a game player.
So he basically stated he has no game plan, he's not playing a game, but then he kind of said one, and I just wanted to let you know
I really
that
think that's blown out of proportion.
that it's been blown out.
Yeah, I really do.
Of course, Lana's not going to see it as a deep thing because she's always had a blind spot for Ron from the beginning. It didn't matter what Ron would do. This girl would be like, that's my man, and take him back no matter what was said, no matter the duplicitousness of this man. Like, it does not matter, you know? And so for her now to be like, oh, I'm sure he didn't mean like that. I'm sure that's not what was said. I'm sure that, of course, I'm not surprised in the slightest, but I'm just like, that was what was said. I don't know if he meant it to be strategic, but it definitely came across that way, you know? And just off of the heels of them being suspected of being game players, or more so Ron than Lana, it's like, why would you then choose to talk about... Well, I guess then you could make the argument that it isn't gameplay because he already knows that if that's an image that's put on him, why would he want to perpetuate that? One could argue that. The other argument is there's already this notion about you, and here you are telling us basically a game plan. I'm inclined to believe what the public is saying about you. You know, it's just all around not a good look. In the evening, Ron and Lana basically believe that there is an agenda against them. It's the attack Ron night or something like that. And so Lana decides to tell Ron what has been said about him.
Is everyone having a laugh?
Oh, I could lose my head on this one.
I know.
They're all just like fucking trying to pin it on you because you're still the strongest couple. You definitely are.
Yeah.
Like,
What did they
All
all say?
you lots, like letting him do that when you've been talking behind his back. Fuck off.
I do think, again, like I said, the timing of it is just all wrong. And if Ron wants to go against the villa, that's cool. But then you got to think, if so many people think the same thing, at what point do you look within yourself and you say, am I the problem? And that's what I want to ask Lana. Like, Lana, yes, I understand you're going to stand beside your man, as you should. That is your boyfriend. But damn near the whole villa is getting sus vibes from your man. And honestly, they have been from the beginning. I don't know. He's making it seem like he is going to pop off. So maybe we'll see that in the next episode. The next episode is also going to be the talent show. So that's probably going to take up the majority of the show. So I want to see if Ron is going to pull up the villa on what they've been saying about him. And I wonder if it's going to be like a Jake situation where all the pressure of people saying that he was a game player led them to then just leave the villa because it was just too much to handle. And then, you know, Liberty, y'all know, y'all were there, y'all watched it, you know? So I want to see how that goes. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.